Hello everyone and my dear subscribers. There was a balance patch as of March 6th, 10 a.m. KST, and in this video I'll go over them quickly class by class. In the developer comment, they said they wanted to improve some of the underperforming aspects of some classes. They've changed some tripod effects of some classes which I don't play, so on those I'll try my best to elaborate. First of all, they've increased the health and defense coefficients of following classes. Summoner, Arcanist, Bard, Sorceress, Deadeye, Artillerist, Sharpshooter, Machinist, Gunslinger, Shadowhunter, Reaper, Soul Eater, Artist, and Aeromancer. Also on the Berserker, Mayhem Engraving, they've changed all damage received reduced by 70% to 72%. On the Destroyer, they gave a little bit of spec scaling back, but a buff is a buff, I'll take it. For Gravity Training though, they buffed the Gravity Bonks by 5.6%, but removed the additional damage on staggered foes. Some people are complaining about this, some people aren't. I think we'll have to see through this for a bit longer, how it performs in raids. On the Glaviers, a lot of the Glaviers were complaining about having the lowest stagger ability in the game. So they buffed the stagger on a lot of the red skills, including Thrust of Destruction, Starfall Pounce, and Redhorn Dragon. For Control Engraving, they changed it so that the spacebar cooldown decreases by 2 seconds every time you consume the identity. On the Artillerist, they increased the spec scaling and increased the damage by 4.3% in identity mode, I believe, but removed the additional damage on stagger foes. I think this may mean the future bosses and raids might not be staggered for too long. For Arcanist, they changed the tripod effects on Scratch Dealer's skill. What used to be a 4-second movement and attack speed buff now lasts for 5 seconds. So what used to be 4 seconds is now 5 seconds. Movement and attack speed buff. And they increased the stagger on 4 cards. Evoke AoE now lasts for 2 seconds instead of 3 seconds, which I think means more concentrated damage. On the Awakening Fate of Death, the damage increased by 310%, but the stack buff is removed. For Arcana's Identity, the chance of drawing Corrosion card, Ghost card, and Clown card has been reduced. The Star card will freeze your mana for 12 seconds and reduce mana usage by 100%. And the duration of Replay card has been changed as follows. Previously it was 10 seconds, now it's 12 seconds. Moving on to Summoner, there was a lot of changes on Summoner. All skill damage in PvE increased by 26.8%. However, they got rid of the 5-second attack buff tripods on the summon skills. So this might be a nerf on the ceiling like in Trixian, but I believe practicality in actual raids should be more effective. Also, the Master Summoner Engraving, the damage of normal skills and Ancient Spirit skills increased by 2, 6, 12 is now 2, 10, 20%. And the Class Engraving Communication Overflow, the damage, what used to be 10, 17, 25%, increased to 15, 25, 35%. On the Sorceress, Identity Generation on all skills increased by 10.2%. On the Inferno skill, it seems like they're reducing mana usage and giving more damage. On the Doomsday, the cooldown, what used to be 32 seconds is now 30 seconds. And effective area increased by 10%. No longer takes forever for the Doomsday to land. You can move or spacebar cancel faster than before. And tripod damage increased from 40.3% to 54.9%. And there was another tripod damage increase by 4%, from 20% to 24%. And there is another tripod change on the Scourge, from 20% to 24%. Explosion damage increased by 4% on one of the tripods. On the reverse gravity, the identity generation has been reduced by 22%, but they increased the stagger. And what used to be a Chaos Dungeon tripod now became damage. So from 120% to enemies below seed is now 213.9% to foes. But it will no longer generate identity. On one of the awakening of Sorceress, the attack AoE has been adjusted so that the fragments can be concentrated in narrower range, but the damage per fragment has been reduced by 28%. Staggerability will be increased, and it's been changed so that the identity will no longer be generated when attack is hit. I don't think Igniter Sorks use this awakening anyways. I don't think I've seen an Igniter Sork use that. And on the engraving, Igniter engraving, I believe nothing else has changed except they increased the crit chance from 25% to 30%. So 5% crit chance increase. Some of the other changes in this patch is they've nerfed the Echidna twice already, and it's only been 1 month and not even 1 week. But this is the second time they've nerfed the Echidna, and last time they mentioned this in a letter, they were worried about raid fatigue. And I do remember one of our party members talking about how classes has to meet certain DPS checks in Trixian in order to join or do Echidna hard mode. So I believe that's why they made this change. They increased the Berserk time from 8 minutes to 9 minutes. And they made it easier to counter on one of the Echidna patterns. So I believe all these changes basically lead to less raid fatigue, which is a good thing, I believe. And also they've mentioned that they're going to reimburse for the tripod changes for Summoner and I believe Sork as well. That is the patch notes for today. The rest of them are just bug fixes. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time. Bye bye.